Yeah, welcome to the Brown Boy Wonder Podcast. Reviews and reactions. Let's go. It's the Brown Boy Wonder. Hold it down, representing for the culture. Every episode brings you closer into the mind and the heart of a hustler, where the truth and the groove collide. Stay tuned in, come enjoy the ride. Keep it authentic like that, never hold back. It's the Brown Boy Wonder Podcast. The Brown Boy Wonder Podcast. Subscribe, share, and stay tuned in. The vibe's always on.
Brown Boy Wonder Podcast Rewatch Series presents Survivor with Brown Boy Wonder and Daniel McGee.
Welcome to the Brown Boy Wonder Podcast. It is summertime in Malaysia, which means, I think so, which means it is time for Survivor. In this rewatch series, my guest and I are going to rewatch the first season of Survivor. I have not seen a single episode of Survivor, but I know what it is. But I think it's time to watch it now. Let me bring in my guest here, who loves and adores the show. I would call him, he's kind of like Jeff Probst here a little bit. But it is Daniel. Dan, how are you doing today?
No, hi. I'm definitely not like Jeff Probst in that he is possibly a bigger fan. I would hope a bigger fan than I am. But no, I'm definitely a super fan of Survivor. I've watched every season at least once, and most of them twice. I've applied to be on it twice. Yeah, I am the person for this podcast. You chose correctly.
Perfect. So do you want to be? So you said you were trying to audition for the show?
I already have. I've applied for it multiple times.
Yeah. Well,
only recently, though. I applied twice in the last calendar year. So.
Well, I hope you get in, because I will root for you all the way. Damn. Well, before we get into the cast here, what do you think was the viewership for the first season on average?
Oh, I don't know, but I do know that it was really, really high.
It is.
Survivor's first, I want to say at least 8 seasons, with maybe the exception of season 3, because that one was post 9/11 and had some stuff with it that the budget fell. But I think the first at least 8 seasons were it was the biggest show on TV.
It was,
and it's still an extremely big show. But if you look at the numbers now, I think they average between 4 and 6 million viewers, and I think season 1 was at 15 to 20 million viewers. So. Yeah, it's a huge show. It's genuinely baffling how few people in my immediate friend group have a history with the show, given how large it is.
Yeah, this is the first reality TV show that was so popular on TV.
I don't have the numbers for that, but I'd be willing to bet that it's definitely the biggest one that I'm aware of.
Yeah. Well, this season ran from May 31st, 2000 to August of 2000, and it was 28 million in viewership.
28 million. Yeah, no, that fits, honestly.
Yeah.
Every single person who was on this first season basically became an overnight celebrity as soon as the show started. It was really crazy.
Absolutely. Well, we are going to talk about episodes 1 through 3, but let's get into the cast here.
Yes.
We got Sonia Christopher, who is a 63-year-old musician. We got BB Anderson, who is a 64 real estate developer. Stacy Stillman, an attorney, 27 years old. We got Ramona I forgot to say where they're from Edison, New Jersey, 29, who is a biochemist. Why is she in the show?
They want a broad spectrum of people, so they're trying to get there's a truck driver and a scientist and I think there's students and I don't know, all kinds of stuff.
Oh, no, it makes sense.
The whole concept is we want to create a new sort of society on this island, which I don't know how well that part of it plays into reality, but they a big part of it is trying to get an extremely diverse cast of people.
Oh, that makes sense. We got Dirk Bean, a 23-year-old, a dairy farmer. We got Joel Klug, a 27-year-old health club consultant. We got Gretchen, a teacher who's about 38 years old. We got Greg Bulis, a 24 Ivy League graduate. Shout out to him. We got Jenna Lewis, who's a 22-year-old student. We got my dude, my favorite guy, Graves Peterson, a 30-year-old YMCA basketball coach.
Jervis,
excuse me. We got Colleen, a 20-year-old student. Got Sean, a 30-year-old neurosurgeon.
Mm-hmm.
We got Susan Hawk, a 30-year-old truck driver. We got this dude, Rudy, 72-year-old retired Navy SEAL.
Rudy Bosch.
Icon
of the time.
I think so too. I think so.
For better or worse.
We got Kelly, a 22-year-old river rafting guide. And we got this guy here, Richard Hatch, a 38-year-old corporate trainer. I texted you this before I watched the show.
Yeah.
Or when I got to knowing the cast here, I was predicting. My prediction is Kelly will be the winner of season one.
Gotcha. Okay.
Is that a good pick? You think?
I mean, I won't spoil anything for you, but she is one of my favorite characters or castaways from this season for sure. Like she's a really interesting choice for sure.
All right. Well, let's get into episode 1 here. The Marooning. Day 1. 16 Americans from different walks of life were sent to the remote of Malaysian fishing village. Have you ever been to Malaysia?
No, I've barely been anywhere.
In the middle of the ocean, the cast was instructed to salvage and all supplies as they get into it and jump overboard to the tribe rafts on the small, uncharted, deserted island of Paluga Tiga, located.
That's correct, Dylan. You said it like you were unconfident, but I think it is Palua Tiga.
Yes.
So pretty sure you nailed it, actually.
Thank you. Located in the South China Sea off of Malaysian coast of Borneo. Thank you.
Borneo. The first season is just called Survivor Borneo.
Okay, gotcha.
Up until season 40, or 41, I guess, all the seasons of Survivor are named either after the location or after the the gimmick. In some cases, they're named after both. Like Panama is called Survivor Panama Exile Island. Like most people just call it Exile Island, but it's technically Survivor Panama. It's a long story.
Is it more of like a attention grabbing type of thing? Like, oh, hey, they're at Panama. Probably gonna watch this season.
Maybe. Part of the sort of gimmick of the older seasons of Survivor was very much the like globe-trotting aspect of it. And so I think a lot of the time when a new Survivor season got announced, one of the first things people were asking was like, well, where is it this time? Because sometimes they went to some, like a lot of the time it was a tropical beach and like it didn't make a huge difference where it was. But sometimes they would take really big advantage of the location. Yeah. So when they did like China or Thailand or the Australian outback, a lot of those very, very heavily influence what the challenges look like and the culture of everything around them. So yeah, it's definitely a big aspect of the older seasons. They've been not stuck. It's not the right word. They've been doing almost every season since I think like 38 or something in Fiji. They basically just set up shop there because they've been to a lot of the places that they could probably film it, and also COVID started right after that, and then they just kind of got locked in where they're like, they get some really good tax breaks in Fiji, so they've just been there for at least since 40 onward. I don't remember exactly when they started.
Okay, well that makes sense. Well, we got these 16 castaways, or Tom Hanks in the movie Castaway. They were divided into 2 competing tribes. They must survive the elements of each other for the next 39 days. Damn. Or they'd be voted off the island. In the end, only one will claim the $1 million prize, and be the title of the sole survivor.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, let's get into the tribes here. We got the how do you pronounce this one here?
Tagi
and
Tagi and Pagong.
Pagong. Oh, Pagong. Okay. We got Pagong and Taigi began to scramble to pull as many supplies as they could. So let's get into our tribes here. So the Taigi they're in orange.
Mm-hmm.
They have Sean, they have Kelly, they have Rudy, they have Sonia, they have Richard, and Susan, and Dirk.
Right.
And Stacy. And they have in the other tribe, they have the other guys.
Everybody else.
Everybody else.
8 people.
There's a lot of people there. Too many people. All right. So the Tengi tribe arrived at camp happily, setting up camp and talking about creating a shelter almost immediately. Early on, members of the Tagi became kind of annoyed with the oldest member, Rudy, our 17-year-old man. Yeah, so this guy, he's like, first of all, he's like, he was complaining to the whole group.
He adjusts pretty fast, but his initial reaction is like, because he's a former Navy SEAL,
yeah,
and so they're like dragging these crates behind them in the water because they've done this marooning where they take all the stuff and throw it overboard, which is actually pretty rare in Survivor. Most of the time, they don't give them anything. So they actually started with a lot more supplies in this than they do in pretty much any other season, which is weird looking back on it. But they're dragging some of the crates behind them in the water, like off the back of the raft, and Rudy's saying like, "Oh, that's just going to slow you down. You're going to end up having to row harder because you're basically pulling these weights behind you. If you just put them on top of the thing, then it would be easier."
Yeah.
And he's right, but knowing Rudy probably doesn't say it in the most like kind way, and so I think it's specifically Stacy like immediately starts bumping heads with him like, I don't know about this guy.
Yeah. Richard asks his tribe to take a few minutes to relax before they start setting up the camp. I'm kind of sick of Richard. I feel like he wasn't doing
on season one. You're already sick of Richard Hatch.
Yeah, he was like laying back and like he was just complaining to the other groups like, "Oh, this could have done better." Like, shut up.
The thing that annoys me the most about Richard in this moment is everyone's already standing around talking about like, this is what we should do for the shelter. We should open these boxes and see what we have. We should like take inventory. And he's like, we should talk about what we want to do. And like everyone's already doing that, but he's just like up in a tree looking like an orangutan up there.
Yeah.
It's like Richard, just like join the conversation. And everyone walks off to start doing the things that they've just talked about what they want to do. And he's like, "Oh, are we done talking?" And it's like, Richard,
I hate this guy.
You need to figure out how to make friends.
Yeah, so early on, sickness among the castaways started to settle in. As the paddle from the boat took place under the hot sun, Pagong.
You'll get it. Don't worry.
Pagong was fighting the currents, and the journey took about 2 hours longer than the Tangis.
Yeah, so Tagi got to their beach within 1 hour of rowing from the marooning, and it took the poor Pagong tribe 3 hours. And by the time they hit the beach, Ramona is like, I think she gets seasick at one point. You can like see her like drinking water and spitting it back out to try and like clear her mouth of, I assume, vomit. They had a rough first 3 hours of this game.
Oh man,
and it's not going to get better.
Absolutely not. Also, Gretchen was like heaving on the fringe of the jungle once they landed. While approaching their beach, Jenna of the Pagong almost had she was like doing some breaststrokes to the camp, without even knowing that the Ponga Tiga has the highest concentration of sea snakes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They don't really talk about that too much in the show, but you definitely are going to see a couple of them throughout the season. I don't know how they handled it back in season 1 Borneo, but in the modern era of Survivor, the production team will keep dangerous animals away from your camp. Like they'll be like, hey, we got a thing here, and then someone will swoop in and take it away. Season 1, I have no idea, because production. I mean, you can tell if you just watched one episode of season 47, you'd be like, this is a completely different game at this point. Production is so much more.
Yeah, it could have been a disaster for season 1. It's the first time they're doing it.
It could have been. There's actually, I don't know if we're going to do season 2, but there's actually a disaster that happens in season 2. Like, the first couple of seasons, they're very much still figuring out what the show is going to be and sort of what the safety precautions and all that should be with it. Yeah. Which is, I think, partially why the people in the first maybe 4 or 5 seasons are, like, they are the most veteran of anybody playing. Not just because they were the first, but because they almost certainly had it harder than like anybody else.
I absolutely. Romana was kind of complaining because she's not used to the water. She's used to being in the lab. Our
good biochemist is just like, I want my AC and my lab coat.
Back to the Tengi. Kelly and Dirk decided that their tribe should organize together and try to figure out how to build a shelter. Rudy clashed again with the rest of the group.
Shocking.
When he suggests a certain way to make the shelter, and Sue injects her own ideas as the tribe argues. Richard
up in the tree, like an ape.
Well, he's the voice of reason for some reason, telling the tribe that they should have a better organized plan before having these arguments. Rudy laid out exactly what he wanted to more discussion, leading the tribe to get the supplies. Dirk has some words for Rich. He thinks that his skills might be in good use, but he's kind of like an a-hole right now.
Which one? I think they're all kind of being a-holes at this first bit. So it you could be talking about any of them. Like Rudy's being kind of a dick. Rich is definitely being a dick.
Oh my god.
Sue's not great. It's a mess. they hit, and it's like the first episode. It really feels like nobody on this tribe is ever going to get along.
Not at all.
Doesn't stand a chance.
Yeah, Sue was telling Richard how to help. There's a whole mess here. Richard said, I'm good to go survival-wise, people-wise, and a little bit more, it's a little bit more challenging, but I've got $1 million check written already. I mean, I'm the winner. And it's kind of cocky an attitude, and it makes people really hate your guts. So that's kind of a thing I really got to keep under wraps. How do we get from here? Yeah, so at this moment, I don't like Richard. I don't like Rudy. Get out of here.
Hatch is probably the person on this cast. I want to say he's the person that I hate the most.
No.
There are some people who are really annoying, and we haven't gotten to the point where they're annoying yet. That's not going to come until like much later. But there's not. Let me put it this way: there's not a lot of heroes on this cast.
No,
not a lot of people.
There's not a lot of people
look back on fondly. Maybe 2 or 3.
There's not, as of what I've seen right now, not anyone I like right now. But I did predict Kelly. Yeah. I did kind of.
You don't like Kelly right now?
Well, she's kind of on her own. She's kind of like doing her own thing, I guess.
Yeah.
But I kind of did a eeny miny mo when I had that's how I predicted it. So we'll see. Hopefully she goes well. Tengi breaks open the chest they took from the marooning to discover various different supplies. Team Flag and Richard finally decides to join the tribe. Thank goodness. Richard tells his tribe that the tribe should move towards one team goal rather than multiple individual goals. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
a little bit. Now united, the tribe works together to help to put their camp together, with every member, including Richard, taking part in constructing the main shelter. All right, that's good for them. Back to the Pagong. the tribe discovers a water map and attempts to find a watering hole.
Like a well.
Yeah. Romana and BB. Why is his name BB?
I don't know what it stands for, if that's the question. I can look it up while you go on.
Well, they work together to try to follow the route of the watering hole.
His name is Bill Byron Anderson. So that's why BB.
Okay, BB's fine.
Yeah.
After searching, BB stumbles across a water hole filled with a brackish water. BB jokes with Ramona about how their knowledge of water hole could prevent the other members of the tribe from voting them out. So
yeah, he jokes. He's like, "Well, we're the only two who know where the water is, so they can't vote us out as long as we don't tell them anything." And Ramona just is laughing her ass off at it. It's like honestly one of the only cute moments that BB has. Because we'll see in a second here. He just like immediately becomes just kind of a dickhead. So,
yeah, pretty much. As day turned to night, either tribe was entirely settled. Through Tangi had constructed a makeshift outhouse, and either had fire for cooking a hot meal with rats and snakes, beginning their beach invasion. Okay. Once the rats and snakes come in, I'm like, I cannot do the show. I cannot be a part of the show.
That's look, that's dinner. I don't know what to tell you. You can catch and eat those rats and snakes. And then once you start catching a couple of them, the rest of them will know not to come around. So, I don't know. It's good. That's good cooking.
It is, but it's not for me. Unless if I'm there, I might as well. But
look, give it a couple days on an island, you'll be willing to eat a rat. I promise you.
I don't know, man. I'm getting the heebie-jeebies.
I'm getting the heebie-jeebies. That's almost a band.
Almost. Day 2. That was day 1. Now day 2. The tribe woke up early. Kelly led the tribe to a yoga session. I want to be a part of that.
You wouldn't do yoga with your girl Kelly?
No, I would.
Oh, okay.
I would do all the stretches and stretches. Rudy attempts secretly that he's not, getting along with these young people. He said in his quotes, "I don't know what MTV means."
And now MTV's dead, so it doesn't even matter that he doesn't know what it means.
No, I don't know. And do even kids now these days don't even know MTV? I don't think so.
I don't know if kids these days know what MTV is. Some of them, Gen A might not know what like cable television is.
Yeah, might as well.
So,
jeez. Well, while he was being an old guy there, Sonia injured her foot, and Sean, the doctor, tend to her medical needs. She said, "I've been thrusting around like I'm 35 instead of acting my age." Yeah, what's going on, lady? As Sean and Richard worked on the camp, they discovered varying degrees of results using both an axe and a flimsy knife, which broke.
Yeah, Richard is like, "Hey, I'm from the corporate world. I know how to cut this bamboo. How about you use what is clearly like a knife for like cutting up fish or something?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Why don't you use this to cut this log in half?" To Dr. Sean, who's cutting it in half with an axe. He takes one chop at the bamboo, snaps the whole knife in half, and just goes, "That ain't gonna work." I don't know why he even tried, to be honest. Like, Sean clearly knew that he was doing the right thing.
Well, after that, Sonia played Richard a version of a song, Blue, Bye Bye Blues.
Yes.
I never heard of that song.
I really only know it through Sonia. She's really good. Like, I was shocked. I haven't watched this season in a minute, and she started singing it up again, and I was like, that feels exactly like something you would hear on like a radio station on like a Fallout video game or something, right? Like, she's genuinely really talented.
She's a good singer. And what's her profession? She's
I think she was a school teacher. And then she retired and became a musician. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Let me look.
Oh,
she's billed as a musician. but I think I wanted to say she was a teacher before that.
All right. Well,
she's
she
a cancer survivor.
Oh yeah,
So
that
that's
was
pretty cool.
That was one of the big major parts of her story. I remember that.
So here we go. So she was born in Washington. She has a bachelor's of science degree in psychology with a teaching credential. Before retiring, she worked as an investment counselor, a tennis teacher, an elementary school teacher. So she was a teacher.
Okay.
And currently, this is at the time that it was airing, works as a part-time music therapist playing the banjo as she leads sing-alongs at Alzheimer's centers. So
Wow.
she's basically just
Good person.
really, really good person. Yeah. She's just like the sweetest lady you've ever heard of in your life.
But is she meant for this jungle? I don't know.
Probably not. Yeah.
She's getting banged up, getting scratches. As Sean and Richard worked on the camp. Oh, we've done that. Richard begins to provide. By the way, do we need music from Sonia or from anyone else? I think music is a good vibe to be in this island, at least.
It is really nice. Like I almost feel like I would maybe keep her around.
Yeah.
Just for that reason, because she's not great in physical challenges. Like we'll see soon. But it's one of those things, because I'm coming at it from a sort of modern survivor mindset, where being really good at challenges is important. Like having a tribe that's able to win challenges is important, obviously.
Yeah.
But what's way more important is like tribe morale and tribe cohesion. And having someone like Sonia, who's incredibly kind and is able to take that stress off people, literally is a therapist with her music. She absolutely has more value than I think they give her credit for.
I agree. Because you need that. Richard begins to provide for his tribe by using the fish and the rat traps that he took from the Pangonging as he cuts up the rats.
The marooning?
Oh yeah, sorry, the marooning. Excuse me. As he cuts up one of the rats as he uses for bait in the trap. Stacy looks in disgust. I would be too. I can't do that.
I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. I don't know what to tell you. Like, there's definitely an aspect of it where there's a lot of people who go on Survivor, especially in early seasons, and it feels like do not know what show they signed up for.
Oh no way! Yeah, I don't think they know at all.
They wouldn't for this season. Obviously, it's the very first one. I'm pretty sure all of these people actually would have just come from like a casting call where they'd be like, "Hey, do you want to go live on an island for a while? It's gonna maybe suck a little bit," and then they ended up with these people. So, but modern seasons you don't get that. Like people know what they're here for.
Yeah, I guess so. Richard was talking about how he got those rats in the trap. He was very proud of that. The Pangong barely slept because the last night's rat invasion. Ramona said, "I didn't sleep at all. I mean, we closed our eyes. We kept hearing the noises and clinking sounds, and we're like, okay, it's what's his name? Joel woke up, and a rat was like in his ear. Oh my goodness, in his ear."
It was trying to get a little nibble.
I guess so. Yeah.
It wanted a little bit of Joel.
Joel said, "I heard something squeaking in my ear every time a rat was trying to get on the raft, or get us near. I mean, they were moving. I mean, so yeah, it's not a good sight for these Yellow Tribe people here."
No, I'm sure that they're. I mean, clearly they're having rat issues also over at the Tagi Beach.
Yeah.
But they got the rat traps, so they threw them out, and they're making use of those rats. Whereas the Pagong tribe is just kind of like having to deal with it.
Yeah.
I do think it's really funny the couple shots they show of the rats like running around. They're like running over like plates and dishes and stuff, and I'm looking at it again from a modern survivor sort of mentality, and I'm like, they have so much stuff. Like they have been given so like the fact that they're starting the game with like crates of food and fishing traps and rat traps and all these tools, and like it's genuinely insane. In Survivor the modern era, so from like Survivor 41 onward, they just they basically just put him on a beach with their backpack, and they're like, "Have fun." Like, you don't get nothing. It's insane to look back and be like, these people have at least a couple of days to settle in before anything goes, before they really even have to worry about like food.
Interesting. Well, again, this is the first season. They don't want the producers don't want them to die, so
I guess
they're like, let's just do this. Maybe later on, nothing else. Does this show get like Naked and Afraid? That type of show? Do
No,
people
so
get
that's
naked here?
people do get naked here.
Okay.
People do get naked this season, but it's not like part of the show. It's usually just like some people are really weird. They kind of make. I don't know if they tell people specifically not to anymore, but I think the last time I remember people like actively getting naked for fun in Survivor was like Pearl Islands or something. So it's definitely frowned upon now. But the first couple seasons, it felt like it was maybe almost encouraged in some cases.
Yeah.
But it was also, this came out in the year 2000. Like, it was a very different landscape.
Especially, yeah. Politically wise too.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get into that with Rudy in a minute here, but yeah.
BB squabbled with his tribe mates about work ethic. Here we go. He got a lot of people on his bad side. He complained about how people are not helping him on the shelter. BB said, we're just going along on the beach here and identifying whatever we can do for the shelter on the roof. And I'm a little irritated that none of them are down to help. Yeah, but that's okay. Joel said, BB, he's a character, man. I don't think he likes me much. Yeah, so BB was talking to everyone, and Colleen, especially Colleen, she got a little bit mad. Because I think B was asked her to do some type of rope thing, and she didn't
so
like
there's
that.
like a bundle of twine, basically, that BB wants to use to tie pieces of the shelter together for like stability. Which is that's what you do. That's the correct way to build a shelter.
Yeah.
But Colleen just like fully does not do it, and he gets really not like really mad about it, but he just like throws an old man like fit. He's just like, I guess I'll just do it all myself, and I'll get super burnt out, and I'll blah 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 blah. And he's just like, it's rough because earlier I don't think we really talked about it, but earlier Rudy's like sitting in the ocean doing a confessional, and he's talking about how like there's more young people than there are people who are like-minded with him, and he realizes that like he's the one who's out of place and he's the one who needs to fit in. And so after the first maybe day, he really stops butting heads with at least most people most of the time. Like he really kind of settles back and just kind of lets things happen. Whereas BB does not do that. BB like doubles down on being this just crotchety old man, and it rubs everyone except maybe Gretchen the wrong way.
Yeah, BB was like, we got a lot of lazy people here.
Or a lot of lazy people.
Gretchen's like, dude, man, you've been working all day, all morning. You just take it easy.
Yeah, she's like genuinely concerned about his health, which is smart because if he gets burnt out and hurts himself or something, then he's going to be absolutely useless in challenges. And he's already like 64 years old. He's not going to be super great in the challenges anyway. So if he's going into something, hungry, tired, and like having spent 6 hours hammering away at stuff in the hot summer sun, he's going to be completely useless. But he just doesn't like connect that. I think he still thinks that he's more physically capable than he clearly is. And it's not a good time for him.
No, man. BB told Gretchen that is a hobby for him to work on the stuff all the time, especially in the heat. And they use BB's glasses to start the fire. Like Billy Joel. We didn't start the fire.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't show that. Because in the history of Survivor, it's a pretty pretty rare thing for people to start fire without flint or matches or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I guess they wouldn't have known how rare that would be season 1, but it's strange that like didn't make the cut for TV,
Yeah, I mean, you should show fire.
Especially since it would have been like a really good character moment for Gretchen to be like, no, Gretchen is capable. She's able to do this. I think a lot of it is just maybe they didn't catch it on camera. I think that they they didn't have it like worked out how they have in modern seasons, where there are so many camera crews on the beach, and they're doing a really great job of like keeping up with absolutely everything that goes on. I think season 1, they just didn't know what to expect, and so they probably just fully missed it.
No, that makes sense. Also, where do the camera people go? I mean, they're filming all the time.
Yeah,
like, where do they live? Does it live with them?
No, they don't live on the same beach as them. So it depends on the different like locations where the show's taking place.
Mm-hmm.
I know they just talked. So there's a podcast called On Fire with Jeff Probst where he talks about this, and in certain seasons, I think in this season the production has just like their own camp, but it's nicer. Like they have tents and stuff.
Okay.
But they're basically just on the ground, but in tents instead of in like a bamboo shack. In other seasons, they have like really small like temporary homes that they'll build. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's like, and I don't mean like a house, but like, you know, basically shelters. They have their own camp, and I think probably in Fiji, because they've been there for so long, it's probably a little nicer than it has been in previous ones. Mm. There was one season, I forget which one, where the production crew was actually staying offshore on a yacht. They were all like on a yacht together.
Yachts.
Yeah, I forget what season that was, but that definitely did happen. It may have been the one right after, because there was another season where the production camp almost burned down. It was like really dangerous. So they may have been all right, well, I guess we'll stay on a boat next time to make it up to these guys. It could have happened. I don't know.
Or at least get it on a cruise ship or something. Well, I mean, you'll probably on camera you'll probably see that, so you want to show the audience to see that.
Yeah, I mean, you probably could, but it seems like in all but one seasons they just have their own camp somewhere that's like more professionally set up.
See, well, over at Tangi, the tribe also tried to start the fire in order to cook some meals. Susan was like, you know, we gotta eat our first meal. It's gonna be a rat soup.
Let's go.
Oh my goodness.
Sue's like almost excited about it. She says something like, she's like, oh, rats are just squirrels without the bushy tail, so it should be fine. And I'm like, Sue, you've been eating squirrels? Like, what's going on in your neighborhood?
Ugh. I don't want to be with her.
Look, if I'm on an island, if I'm playing Survivor, I'll eat a rat. I don't care. Like, sure. Meat is meat. But if I'm at home, I'm not eating a squirrel. Sue, what are you doing?
Maybe we should be preparing for the show. It's like maybe there might be rats on the island.
Yeah.
Time to eat the squirrel.
Better eat this squirrel.
I actually saw 2 squirrels like died on their backs on the road over here. I was like, damn.
Did you think about eating them or?
No, I was like, damn, they died.
Okay.
I was just thinking that. I mean, maybe the Survivor crew might need them for eating.
God, I hope not.
Dirk attempts to rub 2 sticks together, like he sees in the movies, using a piece of kindling in the middle of hoping that, you know, was the start of the fire. It didn't happen.
Yeah, they work at it for a long time. This is, like I said, it's a really common thing in the first couple episodes of Seasons of Survivor to see people try and fail to make fire, and they'll try all kinds of different ways. Like they'll try the glasses thing, they'll try the like bowstring thing where you like spin a stick really fast to make, like, there's all kinds of different ways to do it. And I don't necessarily think Sean and Dirk or whoever was doing it wrong. I think that it was just maybe like it was damp, or I don't know. It's really hard to start a fire without the proper equipment.
I assume. I mean, I would get the what do you get it from the lab? That little you know that thing?
What?
That little latch thing? Like especially when we're in science class in the lab to start the
like
fire.
A Bunsen burner?
Bunsen burner, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they have Bunsen burners out in Pluatiga, Borneo.
Oh, you gotta ask Romana. She might should have.
Ramona, she brought it's her luxury item. She just brought it along with her. Do you know about that, by the way? I don't think that they really talk about it in the show. But every castaway gets to bring one luxury item with them.
I didn't know that.
So that's why Sonia has her ukulele, right? And she brought that with her. So you're not allowed to bring like a tool or anything that'll like dramatically help with survival or anything like that. So you couldn't bring a Bunsen burner, although I think without gas it'd probably be useless anyway. But we'll see like a lot of
Yeah.
a lot of people like having sort of these like artifacts from home.
Yeah.
And,
I don't know that they can do that, but all right.
Yeah, they don't do it so much. Well, okay, so they've done it every season, but in some seasons, more recent ones, they switched it to where there'll be like a challenge about midway through, and you can earn your luxury items. And then since the modern era, I think since like 41, they still bring luxury items like in case they decide to do that, I guess. But I don't believe they've ever actually gotten their luxury items since at least season 40.
Okay. What would be your item?
Gun. I don't know. I have no idea. I genuinely don't. A book that tells me what food on the island is edible. I don't know. Both of those things would be completely unallowed for vastly different and very valid reasons. But
you want to shoot your tribe mates?
I'm not gonna shoot the tribe mates. I'll just shoot like a squirrel or something. Come on.
Don't shoot Jeff Probst.
No, I love Jeff Probst. I would never.
Okay.
No, I genuinely don't know what I would take at all.
I would bring a PSP. I need to change somehow.
Where are you gonna charge it? You'll get like an hour.
That's true. I might get like a solar panel. I don't know. Something there. But yeah, so Sean is like, I can't make this fire.
Yeah.
Jeff Probst, he came by after what? It's been like 30 minutes now. He said, throughout their time on the island, the tribes will compete in a series of challenges. They will receive messages notifying them that these competitions at the tree mail. So they get this thing.
Yeah. So there's always a tree mail. It's where you get your announcements that something is happening. I don't know if it's every day that you get something, but whenever there's an event happening, like a challenge or a merge or whatever, you'll go over to Tree Mail and get like a little note that has a cute little rhyme or something that tells you what to expect.
Okay.
It's so like ubiquitous with Survivor at this point that it's genuinely weird to see Jeff Probst like explain it to the camera and be like, "This is where they get their mail," because like who cares, kind of. But I don't know. There's a lot about these first couple episodes where it's like they're still really figuring out like what's going on here.
Yeah, I see. Well, in today's challenge is both reward in the form of 50 waterproof matches, and immunity. When immunity, you stay on the island for a few days longer. Whoever loses will go to the tribal council, and they have to vote someone off the island.
Yep.
All right. Let's get into the game here. So in this challenge, each tribe had to swim out to a raft with a flame burning on it. The tribes would then. So
the challenge is called the Quest for Fire. What you have to do is you start on a raft that's like 150 feet out in the water, and there's like a brazier in the middle of it with a fire on it, and everyone has to keep a hand on the raft while you carry it from basically out of the ocean and down this track on the beach and light all of these torches as you go.
Yeah.
And the first team to light all of their torches get to the end and light they call it the Spirit of Fire, but it's basically just this like large effigy. Like your side of that wins, gets the matches, wins immunity, doesn't have to go to tribal council.
Well, it was a close race between the Pangong and the Tengi. But the Tengi's Sonia stumbles as they reach the beach. In the end, the Pangong emerged victorious.
Yeah. It is unfortunate because they were close enough that had she not fallen, they may have been able to win.
No.
But at the same time, I don't know. I kind of look at the breakdown of the different tribes, and I really don't think that in a purely physical challenge, I don't think Tagi would have stood a chance regardless.
No, it just depends on the people, right? Who they're with. It's again, it was a close race.
Yeah.
But let's get into day 3 here. At Tengi, Richard targeted Stacy for being the weakest, while the others were gunning for Rudy and Sonia because they're the oldest. Also, Sonia's poor performance at the challenge made her as a target for elimination. Richard was like, dude, we gotta vote for someone. and it won't be me. Sonia said, well, it could have been a lot, either staying or being voted. Last night competition, I really feel responsible because I couldn't keep up because I was being dragged off my feet. I do feel that stumble probably cost us the immunity challenge, and that was a big one. Yes, Sonia is feeling that it was all her fault, and I don't want to say it was kind of her fault, but it was.
It was
last minute.
It's funny though because I don't remember how the rest of the challenges in this season go. But there's not a lot of at least in the modern era, there's not a lot of strictly physical challenges. A lot of them will be mental or strategic. And I do feel like Sonya would have had things to offer in those instances.
Yeah.
So the old school way of thinking of we have to keep our tribe strong for physical challenges doesn't really make sense anymore. So it is really unfortunate, but I do understand why they would make this choice, especially if she's already getting hurt day one around camp. There's a certain aspect of it where you're she probably shouldn't be out here. This is probably a bad idea for her.
Yeah, again,
so
she was getting.
I get it.
She was also getting scratches. She's being helped, so it's more of a liability for her.
And they don't really talk about it much. The strategic element in this first couple episodes, but Stacy is actually at the same time trying to get the women together to vote out Rudy because she still doesn't like him from the very beginning of the episode. And so they don't really focus on it at all. In modern seasons, half of the show is about the social game and who's gonna vote for who and all of this. And they kind of glaze over it in these first couple episodes, and it's honestly really weird to just not get that element of tribe life and instead focus on how are we going to build the shelter? How are we going to do this? Because none of that matters in season 47. And instead they just completely ignore the fact that Stacy is attempting to make some pretty big moves here, voting out Rudy instead of Sonya. But yeah.
She hates him, and
she does, and I think she's fairly justified in hating him because he hates her too. So,
but yeah. Sue initially said she agreed with the plan, to vote out Rudy. Confession, but she decided she had another idea. She said, Stacy came up to me and she was like, I don't like Rudy. She's like, oh, I think we're going to vote for Rudy and vote him off because he's still barking. Well, anybody too barking and too bossy to Stacy because she doesn't move her ass. The chicks think I'm voting for one person. And I'm not. Susan.
I love Sue. She's incredibly problematic and would not do well in Modern Survivor at all. But she's a really fun character to just watch. If you've ever gone to a public place and just been people watching, Sue is gonna be one of your favorite characters this season.
Okay. Well, we're at the tribal council. I do want to say good setup. You got your torches, you got everyone in a circle. Jeff Probst is telling you. Also, by the way, Jeff Probst in this, he's a very young guy in this first season here.
I mean, he's 25 years ago, so.
Yeah. He's also kind of rude.
If you think he's rude now, we'll get a couple seasons in.
Okay.
And when he's talking to Purple Kelly and them, fans of Survivor love when Jeff gets spicy. That's our favorite thing in the world.
Okay.
So I honestly didn't even clock anything he did this season as rude.
Okay.
If anything, because there's one part at the beginning of the Quest for Fire challenge where he says something make sure all of your torches are lit. Don't make me make a judgment call because I really don't want to. And he feels a lot of that feels it's his first time hosting, I think, anything. So he's doesn't have the 25 years of experience that he has now. So it's weird going back and seeing him be kind of fish out of water-ish.
Yeah.
But also for him to be anything other than just this pinnacle of confidence and I know exactly what's going on and this is what's going to happen is very strange. But what did he do that you thought was rude?
I don't know. He was like, especially we'll get into it. The way he like tells people to like, all right, get the hell out of here when they're voted off. Like, just be a little bit nice.
He doesn't say get the hell out of here. I think he said what. He says the same thing every episode. He says the tribe has spoken. Are you talking about when he says like whoever you have to leave the tribal council area immediately? Is that the part?
Yeah, it's like when he was explaining it.
You're at the game. Yeah, you gotta go.
Yeah, you gotta go. I'm like, give us another tone. I mean, I know that person's getting out, but like, just be a little bit nice.
So here's a fun fact. Even back in season 1, if you got voted out, you didn't go home.
Oh
no, they had a separate camp that was basically like a hotel.
Okay.
Called I don't know if it's always been called this, but it's called Ponderosa now. And you go there and you just basically hang out until the show ends because they didn't want people going home and then like spoiling the boot order for people.
Oh,
like, you know, especially once the show really took off, it had a really big following where people would know like, oh, Rudy came home today, so that was it. You know, the season started about 11 episodes ago. He was voted out this episode, right? And so even though he says like you gotta go, like you're not really going home. You're not going anywhere.
Interesting. Yeah, it's like
you signed up for 39 days. You're gonna be there for 39 days.
Oh no, that makes sense because you don't want to spoil everything.
Yeah,
it's like what if they in wrestling, you're trying to get a surprise entry from the Royal Rumble. You gotta hide you in the trunk.
Ponderosa is underneath it's the camp underneath the ring.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, as a tribal council, everyone voted Susan and joined Dirk, Sean, and Rudy in eliminating Sonia. She was the first one to go in a 4-3-2-1 vote. She's gone.
Yeah. So Dirk, Rudy, Sean, and Susan all voted for Sonia, which was enough to get her out. Kelly, Sonia, and Stacy all voted for Rudy, and then for seemingly no reason, Richard voted for Stacy. I don't know why. I genuinely don't.
I think he just want to feel bad. I don't know. Something there. But yeah, Sonia's gone. So the winner of the challenge was Pangong, and they won the 50 waterproof matches.
Yeah.
And I gotta do our final words for our person who just got out.
For Sonia.
Well, she said, well, I think it has been an awesome experience. Being the first one to be voted out was a little bit humiliating. On the other hand, the team did the right thing. They're a terrific group of people. They were very strong and physically, and I think they're in their shoes, and I probably do the same.
Yeah, she's incredibly sweet, and you know, she should have been able to play a little bit longer, I feel, but I understand why they made the choice that they made. I don't know. It's hard to see somebody go, especially somebody who's like clearly one of the kindest people probably in the entire season.
Yeah.
But someone has to go first, and so like I understand it. I do have a couple things about Sonia here that I pulled about her. So Sonia unfortunately did pass away.
Oh no!
But just recently, she passed on April 26th of this year, 2024.
Whoa!
And before she did, she gave her Tagi Survivor Season 1 Borneo buff. She gave it to a person who had just competed on Season 46 called Liz Wilcox. So she sort of like passed her mantle down, which is really sweet. She is still to this day the oldest woman to ever compete on Survivor.
What? She's 63, right?
She was 60, I believe, two or three when she played. There
63.
60. Yeah, okay. So there are some men who were older than her who have competed, but she is still to this day the oldest woman to ever compete.
Interesting.
Which makes sense because older people tend to get targeted really fast in these seasons, as we just learned. She is, even though it never came up, also the first lesbian to play the game.
Oh, yeah. She never mentioned that.
It never comes up. It never comes up in the show, but she was the first lesbian. And this is sort of what I'm talking about Survivor, even though it doesn't necessarily feel like it when you're listening to Rudy talk, has always been an incredibly progressive show. Like the fact that Sonya's on there and she's a lesbian and Richard's on there and he's gay. Yeah. And like they don't do a great job with like getting people from different races and cultures in these early seasons. They won't start doing that until I don't know, maybe like season 9 or 10, and then they kind of go in a weird direction with it for the first couple seasons that they do it, where like one of the seasons they separate there's 4 tribes that season and they separate it by race. So like one of the tribes is all white people and one of the tribes is all black people and one of the tribes is all Hispanic people and one's all Asian people. And it sounds really problematic. It ends up not really being that way. Okay. And does introduce some of the best people to ever play the game. Like that's the season that Parvati gets introduced. And it wasn't a good idea to do it that way, but it did work out, I feel. Okay. So, but yeah, Survivor's always been this like extremely progressive show. Even though being progressive in the year 2000 still allows Rudy to talk the way that he talks.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
That was the thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that makes sense. I no wonder why this show is still going on, especially all these different walks of life, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Sonia, shout out to her, the kindest person alive. Got kicked out of the island. Now we're in episode 2. The generation gap.
Episode 2, oops, all villains.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. This episode started off with a Tangy trying to figure out to get some food, only to find 2 rats for protein. Most of the tribe mates complained about eating the rodents, while Rudy claimed that he was still strong enough not to eat them. Stacy's like, man, I'm hungry. I'm pretty hungry. I've only had some fruits. There's nothing else out there. She laughs nervously. We got 2 rats primed and ready to be cooked. It's dire out here.
I'm just saying, at a certain point, you gotta just eat. You gotta just eat what you can get. If you can get rat, you better eat rat. If you can get snake, you're eating snake.
Oh man, I agree. Protein is important, but rats.
Look, man, you gotta eat. You gotta live.
That's true.
Every calorie you get in your body is one more second of energy that you can use to win those challenges.
If you put it in that way, no, I can't do it. I can't do it.
I believe that if you were out on the island, after a couple of days, you'd be like, yeah, all right, pass me Stuart Little. I'll give it a nibble.
No, I think if you cut off the head, I think I can eat it. Maybe.
I think there's a lot of people who wouldn't be able to kill it, but would be able to eat it. I also think I don't know how that would work for some people though, because I think like how would that work for you, right? Because like, are you allowed? Would you even be allowed like religiously to eat a rat?
Honestly, yeah, it's not.
No, yeah,
no,
because you can't.
rats
make a
not...
halal rat on the beach in Fiji or whatever. Like that's not happening.
They're not. Actually, I can't eat rats. I can't even be part of the show.
You could. So Liz Wilcox, the person who got Sonya's buff before she passed, she couldn't eat anything. Like she couldn't eat fish, she couldn't eat coconut, she couldn't eat papaya. The only thing she could eat the entire time she was out there was like rice and like some of the rewards that they got.
Damn, is she skinny now?
She lost a lot of weight. She did, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So you could do it. It would just probably suck extra hard.
I mean, I get headaches when I'm hungry, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, everyone who's out there is going to be going through the same thing. Like, even if you can eat, you're not eating well.
No,
like,
no, it's pretty much unhealthy just to starve. So
I mean, yeah. I don't think doctors would recommend starving on a beach. That's not like the recommended diet plan.
Oh man. Oh my goodness. Well, Rudy says these guys were talking about eating a rat, and I'm getting. I'm not. If I get hungry enough, I'll eat one, but not right now.
Yeah.
Someone just sent me some link here. Give me one moment. What was this? Oh, someone sent me a Snickers bar. If not, it's not you when you're hungry. I won't tell you who that was, but
It says rats aren't halal.
and I agree, they're not. So,
yeah. I mean, that's unfortunate. Actually, you know what? I don't know. There have definitely been people of like Indian and Pakistani descent who have played the game, but I don't know. I don't remember anybody like talking about that. So maybe they didn't practice that.
Maybe they're not religious to do it.
Yeah,
they're just from that descent.
Because I don't think the show would like shy away from it. They, especially in the modern seasons, love like showcasing that diversity in these different walks of life. So if somebody was going like having an extra hard time because they were living up to their religious ideals, I think that they would, if anything, specifically focus in on that. So I wonder if that's just not a thing. I don't know. Maybe you should apply. You should apply and be like, here's the thing, can't eat rats. That's my biggest flaw will be I can't eat a rat.
I can't eat snake. I can't eat snakes. I can't eat rats.
You can eat coconut and papaya. There's a ton of
I can eat that. I can eat that. No, I can eat that. But I need chicken. I need some chicken. So if there's some chicken in there, I'll get it.
It's not gonna be halal chicken though.
Oh, that's true.
Well, actually, the thing is, like, they do a pretty good job on reward challenges of making sure that the people who could potentially win could eat it. So if you were on a season, they would probably make a point of having at least some of the rewards be halal.
Okay.
Or have like vegetarian options.
I'm fine with vegetarian. I mean, as long if the reward is Dave's hot chicken, I'm eating that. Yeah, I'm eating that. Today was actually free slider. So there was packed in the location of Dave's Hot Chicken. So maybe these guys need it. I don't know.
They're usually sponsored by Applebee's, actually.
Oh, are they? Oh.
Yeah, they get sponsored by Applebee's like a lot.
You're here with family. Oh no.
When you're here with your family.
Okay, I was thinking of Let's Go Places, but that's Toyota.
I'm in a weird Applebee's rut in my life right now where Survivor is frequently sponsored by Applebee's, and then also the Detroit Lions are like, like there's all those commercials where like Dan Campbell is working at Applebee's.
Yeah.
Applebee's just like will not leave me alone.
That's true.
They're finding me.
I just saw a picture of Dan Campbell. Yes.
Dan Campbell at Applebee's, yeah.
Yes. I just like the episode where he was just hiding behind the playbook.
And he's like hiding his mouth when he's ordering so you don't know.
Yeah. Good commercials here.
I love Dan Campbell. America's coach.
But yeah, so Sean says, I like to catch something and eat something of our own, not to have it to be a rat. Oh my goodness. And Kelly says, fishing. I think we'd be doing, what we're supposed to do, collecting some hermit crabs.
Hermit crabs. I just eat the hermit crab, honestly. If I can catch something, that's what I'm going to eat.
Yeah.
Especially because I think I don't know if maybe it happens later and I'm spoiling it a little bit, but Sean with his super rod or whatever, where he builds like a just completely jank, huge ass fishing pole that you can't catch a damn thing with for like 3 days straight.
hey, he's trying.
I'll be like, look, Godspeed to you, Sean, but until then, I'm going to eat your bait for a while because I need to eat something.
That's Sean, man. In a confessional, Stacy complained about Rudy eating their. Oh yeah, Rudy was eating the food supply without asking for permission. That's a big no.
Well, he's an old guy. What are you gonna do? He's a Navy SEAL too.
I'm sure he has like a lot of.
Can we
problems.
talk about how Rudy is like 70? Or no, he's like 6. No, is he 70? God, he's the oldest person.
72.
Season. He's 72 at the time that the season starts, and he has like muscle. I mean, he's like old guy muscle, but he's still like built. He's doing push-ups on the beach. Dude's killing it.
No, he's there. He could be a professional wrestler or something. I mean, he honestly, he got it.
Rudy at 75 will be a better wrestler than Ric Flair at 75. Promise you that.
Absolutely agree.
How old is Ric Flair right now? Hold on, let me look.
He's like 81.
He's 75. He's currently 75. So he is 3 years older right now, having looked like he was a million years old for the last 20 years. He's only 3 years older than Rudy was at the time that he was competing.
Wow.
Think about that.
Ric Flair, you gotta step up your game.
You gotta step it up. You gotta get that woo energy back in you.
Oh, the woo wings.
Gotta get them woo wings, but only if they're halal.
Oh, yeah, please. Richard said, we're getting there, guys. We're getting to know each other a little bit more. I'm really learning a little bit more about Stacy. I voted her off. She thinks it was Rudy. She even came up to me and said, yeah, I think Rudy voted me off. But that's okay, because he's next anyways. Ooh.
It's a bold statement.
Yes.
But arguably, she should have been right. I mean, if
Honestly,
we're going based on the like who's rough to live with and not super helping the tribe, Rudy's not a bad pick.
He can motivate us, but if he's not doing anything, he's eating our supply.
Yeah.
I get it, he's old. I get it, you gotta eat. But
We all gotta eat, you know? At least he's not doing what BB's doing in a minute here.
Oh yes. Let's get into that. So at Pangong, BB sent out orders to his tribe to make a hut. Gretchen and Colleen praised his work ethic, but they and the rest of the tribe were getting a little fed up with this overbearing personality.
Mm-hmm.
Romana is even complaining that Ramona, excuse me,
like Ramona Flowers from Scott Pilgrim.
Ramona, Pangong, Ramona, Pangong.
You'll get it. I promise.
Oh, God. Thank you. That BB doesn't give them ample rest for all day's work, and that she will likely to vote him out should they lose a immunity challenge. Yeah. So this dude, man, this BB guy, he's not it.
Nah, he's not killing it. He's doing the exact opposite thing. So him and Rudy are both being like crotchety old men, but Rudy's like learning to be less that, and BB seems to be doubling down. Like,
oh yeah,
there's one part I'm pretty sure it's like in this montage where they're building the shelter. He's got Greg, and he has like one hand on his pants and one hand just like fully grabbing him by the hair, and he's like lifting him up to help build the shelter. And I'm like, BB, you gotta stop. Also, like, what are you gonna do if he falls? That's a grown ass man, and you're 72 or something. Like, you're not catching him.
No, man. Yeah, everyone appreciates his work ethic, but BB is being a little, again, an a-hole.
The amount of patience that people have with BB is honestly surprising.
No,
I don't know that most people on most seasons of Survivor would have put up with BB for as long as these people were willing to.
No, man, he is his way or the highway.
Yeah,
or the ocean. Yeah. Gretchen once said, "Work ethic is a big issue to BB, regardless of how wonderful his personality or something. You know, it comes down to that." With him. Later on, Ramona.
There you go.
She said, at this point, no one wants to have a confrontation with him. So it's like whatever BB says is like, well, okay, BB, yeah, whatever you want. And I don't know. I guess I honestly, if we were even losing a challenge, I think we'll probably be the first one to be voted off. So this guy's out here. He's out of here.
Yeah.
Back to the tanking camp. Dirk, Stacy, and Rich still failing to catch a fish. Rudy cooked a rice and papaya for lunch.
Yeah. He's like calling from the beach. He's just like, I cooked some rice and I put papaya in it. And there's 3 people on a raft, and they're like, cool, thanks. Yeah. Do we have lemon? It's like it's just this like completely mundane conversation, but Rudy doesn't understand that the 3 people on the raft are just like, cool, dude, whatever. Like he seems like he's genuinely kind of proud of it that he cooked rice and put papaya in it.
He thought he was doing something.
Oh, yeah, I respect it. I respect him, but also I don't.
No. Well, later on, Richard revealed in a confessional that he is scared to reveal he is gay. because the ex-Navy SEAL is homophobic.
Yeah.
With Rudy away, Richard's revelation became a healthy discussion during lunchtime. Later on, Richard approached Rudy and revealed his sexuality. But to Richard's surprise, Rudy did not feel uncomfortable talking to him. Instead, Rudy revealed that Richard is the most nice person on the planet, and he appreciates his leadership skills.
Yeah, this is like a really cool moment for Rudy, because I think up until this point you're just like, oh, he's a shitty old guy, he's gonna suck, he's the worst. And then you realize like he is from a different time. Yeah. And he was raised in a world, in a place where there are certain things where he just never learned that, like, hey, you probably shouldn't say that, you probably shouldn't talk like that. But he immediately like accepts Richard for being gay. He doesn't seem to have a problem with it. He's still probably his closest friend on the beach. He has that line immediately after this where he's like, me and the homosexual have become really good friends. Not in a homosexual way, of course, but it's like, it's like he's saying something that is nice, but he's saying it in like a very old man, like out of time way, and it gives you that impression of like had he been born like 15, 20 years later, he would be a completely different person, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I do think that Rudy is a good person. He's just very like stuck, you know?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, it makes sense. He is a nice person. It's just the way he say things or how he approaches to things are a little different.
He doesn't know. He has no bedside manner. There's no sugarcoating anything.
No.
He says exactly what he thinks all the time. And that's good and bad. It means that you can really trust him on a show like this, because you know that he's not ever going to hide anything from you, because he seems physically incapable of doing so. And then on a personal note, it means that like you know exactly what he's thinking all the time. Like you don't have to worry about like, oh, does he actually feel a different way about me because I am gay, because I'm whatever? Because he'll let you know. And on a positive note, it seems like in most cases the answer is no. He won't treat you differently because you're gay. He won't treat you differently because you're black or whatever. Like, he's, for a crotchety old Navy SEAL from the 30s or whatever, he's surprisingly pretty progressive, honestly.
Yeah, he is. Shout out to Rudy then. We were getting a lot of flack on him, but
yeah. Oh, and there will be more. But he's, for what you would have assumed he was going into the show, he's significantly better than that, and I think that's kind of commendable.
Do you think BB would be the same?
Like if he played today,
or like if he was in Rudy's shoes right here?
Would Rudy be the same if Rudy was in Rudy's shoes? What are you asking me?
If BB was in Rudy's shoes, like would he tolerate like homosexuality? I guess, but he's also old as well.
I don't know, because we don't actually see BB being like racist or homophobic or anything. We just didn't see him being like really annoyed with people not working. Like his issue is the generation gap. We never see him being like a bad person, just like an annoying person or a rude person.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the BB would be perfectly fine with Richard. But I don't think he would do any better on the Tagi beach than he was doing on the Pagong beach. I think he would butt heads with all kinds of people regardless of where he was. I don't think he stood a chance with his personality, unfortunately.
Well, shout out to Rudy. Back to the Pagong beach, the younger tribe members ate papaya. Ramona, on the other hand, couldn't stomach it and decided to drink water instead. Her tribe mates, what's his name again? Gervais? Jervis, Romana, Pagong.
Just think of Gervais, like
Ricky Gervais?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then just like say it the way an American would. It just take the A's out and make it is.
Jervis.
Yeah.
Jervis. Okay. Jervis even confessed that he pinted a Romana because she was sick, and yet still trying to pull her weight. Yeah, so Romana is, she's sick. She can't help out. Yeah,
the diet is not agreeing with her her very indoors lifestyle is not agreeing well with the papaya and rat stew.
Oh, no way, man. Jervis was like, I feel bad for her because she's so hard to, get into the mix of things, help out to do her job, but she's not feeling well, man. Gretchen was like, yeah, she couldn't do it. Maybe at home. Well, she said, I think at home she's very successful at what she does. And I'm sure she is.
Oh, I'm sure.
Biochemist.
Yeah.
Oh man, here we go. BB.
BB
said, well, I think the work ethic problem doesn't even ever change because, I mean, the people who work are working and the people who are resting are resting. That's the way it's about 85% of the time. The laziest person is Ramona. Oh my goodness. I mean, she just doesn't contribute anything. She doesn't have worked in 10 or 15 minutes in 5 days. Yeah. I mean, she's really a drag because she drinks our water, she eats our food, and she gotta be out of here.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he doesn't know that she's sick or something, or just doesn't care, but
I think he's more narrow-minded, I guess.
He definitely is. He's very stuck in, like, it's like you said earlier, he's the my way or the highway kind of guy.
Yeah.
And she's not doing it his way, so.
Jervis and Greg was pretty much saying BB is a good guy, but they're like, if you're sick, you're sick, man. How can you work? How can you contribute to the tribe? If someone was sick in my tribe, I'll let them rest, and they'll come back later.
That's how most people are. BB is uncommonly crappy about it.
Yeah, and even BB said, like, yeah, I know I'm this way, but that's how you survive.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, all right, I guess.
Yeah.
Day 5. Oh my god, it's already day 5.
Day 5 of 39.
God, if Romana can do this, she can't do this at all.
Yeah, it is one of those things where it's like we're only 5 days in, and if you're having this much trouble already, I mean, there is a bounce back period. Like you'll see a lot of people in these longer seasons. Start out okay, get really bad, and then at a certain point they hit this like groove where they actually start seeming to get better. And I don't know if it's because they're becoming more comfortable with it, or like their body is getting used to it, or because they're winning more rewards or whatever. But if you're already at day 5 and you're like sick and throwing up and unable to do anything, it's going to be a really tough road for you. Like people have made it despite that, but it's not common.
Oh man. Well, it's day 5. Greg and Colleen invited Romana for a hike, but she refused. But there's a little thing going on with Greg and Colleen.
Ooh.
There might be some flirting here, I guess.
Yeah. I don't want to spoil why, but Greg and Colleen annoy the hell out of me. Like for so much of this season. It hasn't come up why yet. But I think you'll see pretty soon. And so I'm watching this and I'm seeing them like go off and start being like a couple sort of. They're not dating or anything, but and I'm like, God, I wish they would just go. I just don't want to see them.
Greg said like she's really fun to play with because she's fun, energetic. She's rough and ready, whatever that means.
Nothing good.
Colleen said it's just like I'm just making a friend out here, which I don't think was very possible. Ooh. Later that night they played a game called the All Newly Stranded Survivor Game. Yeah, what happened here, man?
Just an incredibly badly named like Survivor version of the Newlywed Game. It's worth noting this isn't a challenge. This is just something that Greg did. Is he stuck some like dead grass in his buff, so he had like a headdress thing going on, which is probably not kosher, but that's fine. And like had them play the Newlywed Game, and the only question that we see him ask is, if you had to describe your favorite sexual position as a food, what would it be? And everyone is everyone's laughing, but I think a lot of people are kind of uncomfortable. And the only answer that we hear anybody give is, I think Joel says it's a good and plenty bar, which is funny. But I don't know. There's a couple people who we hear like talk about afterwards where they're like, I love having Greg around. He's really fun. He's a good energy. But I feel like day 5, that kind of energy is entertaining, and day 15, that energy is like, I need you out of my face immediately.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I assume that it's fun while it's like few first days, but day 30, no.
No, absolutely not. I don't think I could tolerate
Humor.
just the way Greg is.
Yeah.
Not humor. Humor's fine. It's just Greg goes on this trajectory of just like, it seems like he might be low-key losing his mind a little bit. So, but we'll get to that.
Let's get into it. Day 6, the Pangong Day started with BB and Gretchen arguing about where the shelter should be placed. As high tides threaten to wash their shelter away, we get an argument between Gretchen and BB. Gretchen doesn't like it. BB says, just stay here. Joel said, if the sky was blue and I said it was blue, he said it was red, just to disagree. I can't bring anyone down. So like BB, again, as you said, he double downs everything what everyone says. He is not part. There's an I in team for BB.
Yeah, he's just. So this whole fight comes along because they're basically the shelter is too close to the shore.
Yeah.
And so they're concerned that, like, when high tide comes in, that it's going to sort of wash out their camp or like take away some of their supplies if they leave them underneath the shelter or whatever. And so everyone's basically saying like, hey, BB, we should just move the shelter. Like, it's a bunch of sticks. We can pick it up and move it. It shouldn't be that hard. We'll just rebuild it closer to the forest. And BB just like won't have it, which to some degree I kind of understand because he's kind of the only person who built it. And so for them to be like, you built it in the wrong place and now let's move it, is probably like a little offensive to him, to be honest. Because he's probably like, I put all this work in while you guys sat around. This is his viewpoint, at least. And now you're saying I didn't do it in the right place. Like, I put all this work in the wrong place. Which is true, unfortunately. But his solution to it is to go get like a big ass log and lay it on the beach between the shore and the shelter, so that like when the tide comes in, it'll have to rise above the log before it can get to the shelter. But like, I don't think that like, the beach is really long and the log is like 15 feet tops, so it's not like the water's just gonna go around the side. Like, I don't understand what the thought process is. And I honestly don't remember if it comes up. I don't know if the shelter ends up having any problems. I don't remember that, so I guess we'll find out again together. But just like, what a weird decision to be like, don't worry, I'll put this stick here. That'll fix it.
I think he just want to be wrong. He thinks whatever he does or thinks is the right way. So it's not especially if you're working a group project, you don't want to have this guy around. No,
you don't want to be on BB's team because he's going to do all the work, even if you want to help, and then he's going to tell the teacher that you didn't do anything.
Exactly. Oh, I don't want to get an F.
Yeah. He's going to do all the work badly and not let you help.
The presentation's gonna be like all. I don't think he knows how to do animation. It's just gonna be all like
PowerPoint.
Yeah, I don't think he knows
the whole thing's up.
I think it's the whole presentation. There's no slides. It's just one slide.
He's just reading it off a piece of paper.
Yeah,
he drew it with crayon.
Crayon. At Tangy Camp, Sean made another attempt to catch the fish. As you said, creating his Super Bowl 2000.
Super Bowl.
Dude, this guy did not make any catches. Susan mocked him, saying, "Oh no, it's a waste of time." Well, did you catch any fish? No. Susan was having fun. Sean was being very patient with his pole.
It's actually really funny because we see both sides of this argument, but from different groups of people. Because on the Tagi tribe, we see Sean spend a lot of time trying to catch fish and failing. and we see Sue make fun of him for it. And in that camp, Sue is being considered like the correct person of like, if you didn't catch any fish, then you wasted your time trying. But then we go over to the Pagong tribe a little bit later, and there's 3 girls out on the raft trying to fish.
Right.
And they're having a similar argument with I forget who, but it's literally the exact same thing, but from their side, and they're like, well, we have to try to catch something. Like, we have to continue. Like, if we don't try, we won't catch anything ever.
Yeah.
So we literally see both sides of it, but just from different people, if that makes sense.
People
like
and tones.
Like the same. It's funny that the exact same argument is happening at 2 different camps, and that the way the show is being edited is showing the opposite sides of it in those 2 different instances. I think that's kind of clever, honestly.
Good editing. Yeah, they're talking about that situation there. Hopefully Sean, gets something there. Back to the Pangong Beach, the entire tribe was irked by BB's selfishness as he washed his clothes using the tribe's mates' water canteens. Dude,
Yeah.
what's wrong with this guy?
They've been like out doing stuff all day, carrying that log around, I guess, to try and block the ocean. That'll stop it. And then he takes off his sweaty, disgusting t-shirt covered in pictures of his family members, and he's washing it in their clean canteen water.
Ugh.
And not only with the clean water, but he's also washing it in the pot that they cook their rice in. And everyone's like, what the hell, BB? What part of this did you think was a good idea? And he keeps trying to like cover it up, and he's like, well, I'll just go and get water. Like, we can just go to the well and get more water. And it's like, okay, well, you still have to boil that water. You can't just drink it immediately. It's like, there's all this work that has to go into it. It's like, they kind of overcorrect, because when they're talking to him about it, they started talking about like, before you do anything, we should vote on it. And I think that's an overcorrection, when the conversation should just be, don't wash your sweaty ass t-shirt in the pot that we eat out of, you filthy animal.
Come on, BB. Jervis stepped in by accusing BB for being bossy and told him he should not expect them to do work. Angered with Gervis calling him out, BB stormed off. Come on, dude. After that, both tribes received tree mail informing them of their next immunity challenge, where it was speculated that food will be involved. Gervis is like, tasty.
Food.
Yeah.
How could this possibly go wrong?
Oh, well, at Pangong, BB was considering throwing the challenge and even quitting the game. His tribe mates said they would do everything possible to win the challenge. Yeah, BB's like, I'm done.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
he just doesn't want to be here anymore. So, we'll talk about it later. But there's a whole story about that.
Okay.
But we'll get to it after Tribal.
I think Ramona said, I don't agree with that, with quitting just as engineering something just to save his face. So, come on, BB. What the hell are you doing? All right, so this challenge, man, this immunity challenge, I can't do this. I cannot.
You couldn't do it?
I can't do anything here, man.
I can't eat the rats. I can't eat. Well, yours is for a religious reason, so I guess I'll let it slide. That's fine. But before then, when you were just saying I couldn't do it because it was a rat, you'll get it. Do you have to eat? Do bugs have to be halal? When does that come up? How do you?
No, I can eat. They're insects.
Are you legally allowed to eat bugs?
No, they're insects. I can eat bugs.
Okay.
But I'll never know anybody who eat bugs like that.
They do like the fried crickets or whatever places. Could you eat those? Is that okay?
I'll have to ask my local person, but I don't know. Maybe.
I have no idea.
I'm not sure.
Because no one's like making halal crickets. Like, that's not a thing.
No, I think they're insects. They're not really animals.
Sure.
So I can eat them.
I'm willing to agree with that.
Yeah.
You know, people say you eat spiders in your sleep all the time anyway, so.
That's true. I think 50,000 or 500 at least in your house. Ew.
What?
Well, like small. no, you're cutting out.
For me. Check my internet speed. No, maybe
Oh, no. Oh, I think it's good. Oh no, usually at 2 a.m. my internet kind of messes up. Give me a moment.
Okay.
It's always at 2 a.m. Don't worry, I'll edit this out.
No worries. I'm sure somehow it's Skylar's fault.
Maybe. Okay, I think we're good. Okay.
Okay.
Back to now. This immunity challenge, you basically gotta eat a beetle real quick before your opponent does.
Yeah, well, it's a beetle grub. So it's basically just like a really big maggot.
Hmm. I mean, they're squirming, right? And you can see the
Yeah.
head.
I don't think
Oh,
you're
man.
supposed to eat the head. Like, some people were biting it and like ripping the head off and throwing it away, but other
Right.
people just like fully chewed the whole thing. So I don't know what the ruling on that is of like, do you have to eat the whole thing but the head doesn't count? I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I think I think one of the girls, she swallowed it and showed her tongue. I'm like, all right, just put that thing back in your mouth. I don't want to see
She
all
had
that.
to prove that she ate it.
I know, but it's just
Jervis could not. Jervis
Oh,
was
yes.
struggling.
this guy's me.
Yeah.
I cannot do it. Yeah, here
Everyone
we go.
else
So,
like does it pretty easily. Like,
yeah, I guess
they don't seem to be
they're
like thrilled about it, but really the only person who like has genuine issues with it is Jervis. And he's
Yeah.
just like throwing a full fit. He still does it to his credit, but
Well, yeah, let's get into this matchup here. So it was a close race,
Yeah.
ending up with in the tie as a tiebreaker round. Both tribes had to pick a squeamish member of the other tribe. The Tangi chose Gervis, and the Pangong chose Stacy.
Mhm.
Oh, Stacy's the one who shows her tongue.
Yes.
So Stacy was first to swallow the grub, basically winning the challenge. Everyone was complimenting that Stacey can do anything she can do, she can want, and I agree. She's a fighter. Okay, now everyone in the Pangong, because since the Pangong lost due to Gervis, they're all saying like, I think it's maybe BB's time to go. He's out of here.
Yeah.
So now they're at the tribal council. Our Jeff Probst is here. I feel
Oh,
like Jeff
boy.
Probst. I feel like Jeff Probst doesn't like.
The homie Jeff Probst.
Yeah, like he doesn't do much. He's just a host.
Yeah, I mean that's his whole job. Is he's not competing in the challenges or anything.
I want him to compete in the challenge. Like I want him to eat the larva.
No, dude.
Don't come on, Jeff. Well, Jeff is like, all right, submit your votes. In the end, BB attitude cost him dearly as he became Pangong's first casualty in a 6-2 vote.
Yep.
He's out.
The only people who did not vote for BB were BB because you're not allowed to vote for yourself, and Greg for some reason, who both voted for Ramona.
Yeah. Well, BB final words were, "I'm a little sad." Oh, let me talk like him. Well, I forgot how he sound like. Well,
Well, it's
I'm
gonna
gonna
be
say
tough
no.
to talk like him then.
Yeah. I'm a little sad to leave these people because after 6 days, I've gotten pretty close with them. There isn't anybody in that group I don't like. Some I like more than others, but that's normal. And
Yeah.
I hope I show them a little work ethic that I don't back off from. From what I did, I think what I did was the right way. Deuces.
Yeah, so it wasn't. First of all, so here's a fun little anecdote about BB and why he got voted out. So we saw him telling people that he kind of wanted to be voted out, and that they should maybe even consider throwing the challenge to vote him out. Apparently, he threw a full bitch fit, and he fully tried to just quit the game, but he got into a confrontation with the producer of the show, Mark Burnett, and Mark Burnett refused. He was like, I will not let you quit unless it is on camera. Like, I cannot have you just disappear from the show. And like, we can't just do a Poochie return to his home planet situation, right?
Yeah.
And BB wouldn't quit on camera. He said, he was like, I'm not a quitter. And it's like, but you are literally quitting. But he refused to do it on camera. So instead, he just went to everybody individually and was like, vote me out, vote me out, vote me out. And I think maybe even potentially was doing crappy things around camp so that people would vote him out. And then after he did get voted out, and part of this is rumor, we don't know if it's like confirmed yet. I guess we probably won't ever have it, but apparently BB, because I told you when you get voted out, you have to stay at the other camp and just like basically hang out. BB bribed somebody on production to let him leave. and he because BB's already like independently wealthy, and he like had a helicopter come and pick him up, and he just fully left.
What about the spoilers? He's going to say
he didn't care. Clearly, he didn't care. And so weird because like Ponderosa, the camp you go to after you get voted out, is nice. Like you get to eat all you want. Basically, you're just kind of hanging out. You just get to basically be on vacation. In this case, Borneo. Yeah. And he was like, "No, I'm going home."
Oh man, did he get sued or something?
I don't think he got sued, but production was pretty pissed.
Oh, I'd be pissed too, especially that guy.
His luxury item that he brought with him was a towel. He just brought a towel. He's like, it's gonna be wet out there.
What the hell, a towel?
I don't know, man. He was really, really bad at the game. Just so bad.
Maybe he wants to build a towel. I don't know. Okay, BB. Well, bye, man. Good riddance.
Yeah. It's rough. The first couple episodes of like every season is just like, we're gonna get rid of the characters, the cast members that are just not that interesting. Usually is how it goes. But I feel like in this season in particular, it was like they got rid of Sonia, who could have been a really interesting character, but then didn't get a shot. And then it was like, we have to get rid of this guy because he literally will not play the game. He is refusing objectively to play the game that he signed up to play.
That's crazy.
After only 5 days or 6 days, I guess.
Yeah. Well, how old is he? We mentioned that he was
like 60 something.
64.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, BB, you're a great worker, a terrible team leader.
Yeah. You don't need to apologize to him. He died in 2013 of brain cancer, so he can't hear you.
Damn, I apologize.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you lived a great life.
He did. His whole like bio, it honestly reads like a adventurer's like playbook. It's great. Like he sailed from Florida all the way across the ocean to I think Lisbon. He was a independently wealthy like was it a contractor. He did all kinds of stuff. Like he had a great life. He was just also, unfortunately, the only part of that life that we got to see was the part where he was really bad at Survivor.
Yeah. That's terrible.
Yeah.
Well, so far, all the people who got out are kind of dead. So I hope the next people who are getting out are still alive. I hope.
The next person who gets voted out is still alive.
Okay, good.
It's actually very uncommon. There's very few Survivor cast members from like all 47 seasons now who have died. So it's weird that there's
that makes sense.
Spoilers, 3 of them in this season.
Okay. Damn. Well, I mean, how many seasons are there? 47, right? So
47, yeah.
There has to be some people who passed away.
Yeah. Especially when people are being cast when they're 72 years old.
Rudy!
Yeah, sorry. Rudy, unfortunately, well, I'll just say it now. Rudy has also passed. He had some like complication with dementia, I think.
Oh no.
But he was like 90 plus years old at the time.
That's true.
91. And he passed from complications associated with dementia and Alzheimer's.
Damn.
Yeah.
I'm sure he remembers Richard.
Yeah. Although he probably also thinks that Richard's going to hell, so.
Oh, allegedly.
I don't know.
Well, let's get into episode 3, our last episode for this episode here.
Last episode.
Quest for food. It is now day 7. Now it's been a week. These people are tired and sick because it started off with people, Tangi tribe, attempting to catch fish. Sean complained in his confession that they haven't been catching any fishes at all. Sue expressed her concern about their nearly emptying stock and ready to eat canned meals. Yeah, while that was going on, they're all frustrated because they can't catch any fish. Later on, Sue, Stacy, and Kelly were trying to get some fish. Other thing you mentioned here, where Kelly revealed to Sue and Stacy that they're getting fed up with Rudy's sarcastic take on their failure fishing expeditions.
Yeah. It's so weird that he's like still continuing to push this thing of like, I know what's best, I'm the Navy SEAL, after he said multiple times like I need to fit in better with them, but he's still like kind of unable to do that to an extent. So it almost makes you wonder like how bad would he be if he wasn't trying?
Yeah. I hope he's just not like soaking his clothes into the food supply like BB.
No, he has not bathed in any way, shape, or form. He's a filthy man.
Oh yeah, we get into the scene. I don't like the scene at all. It's where the Pangong, while collecting the food, Gretchen, Colleen, and Greg stumbled on a mud volcano and decided to play instead. Dude,
it's like a hot spring but mud.
No, man.
You would not mud up.
It's gonna be smelly. You're already full of mud.
I'm sure they're already disgusting at this point. Living on a beach for now 7-8 days.
Yeah, so I think we can probably get used to the smell.
I'm sure they're all disgusting already. I also don't think I would do this though. And they're like scrubbing each other with the mud like it's gonna help clean them up. I don't know. It must not have smelled bad because they wouldn't have done that if it smelled like actual poop.
Yes. Oh, there's a thing called like mud spas, right?
Yeah, people do mud baths. Like that is a thing. And that mud does look. I mean, it looked clean. It wasn't like it was, gross and had like a bunch of stuff floating around in it. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, I'm good actually. I guess maybe they're just super bored.
Probably, yeah. In the quotes, they were just saying like, "Oh, we're having a lot of fun."
Yeah. Unshockingly, this was a Colleen and Greg thing.
Yeah. Oh, ayo.
I just don't trust him.
No. They decided to return to camp fully mudded as they divulged the rest of their tribe about their discovery. In the end, the tribe ended up having mud baths even more than when imagine BB was around here. You think he enjoyed a mud?
Absolutely not. And he would be livid that everyone else was getting covered in mud. He'd be like, "Why are you getting covered in mud instead of helping build a second shelter? We should have a whole neighborhood by now. Everyone should have their own shelter."
He's like the Undertaker when he sees the other wrestlers playing video games. He's like, "Not in my day."
No, we used to play bloody knuckles and stab each other with knives.
Yeah, exactly. They so that happened, and Jenna said, we're going to be here 39 days. We gotta be happy some way. Back to the Tengi tribe. Rudy was surprised when he saw Dirk in the middle of the woods reading his Bible, his luxury item.
Yeah.
He's like, I didn't know he bought a Bible. Dirk is like, man, I just want my quiet time, praising the God.
Yeah. Dirk's literally just like minding his own business out in the forest, reading his Bible. And everyone's like, what are you doing, buddy?
Yeah.
I mean, he does get weird about it later, but at the moment, he's being perfectly fine.
Yeah. Well, later on, Dirk then preaching to the tribe mates.
Yeah.
And
by
Susan
later,
was
I
like,
meant immediately.
yeah. Susan's like, I get it, I believe in God and all, but like, you kept talking about it, and you didn't need to stop.
Yeah, which is funny because he also has that confessional where he's talking about Richard being gay, and he's like, I got no problem with people being gay, but like, why do they always feel like they have to talk about it all the time? And like, everyone's already getting annoyed with him for like not shutting up about Jesus.
It's too much.
It's really funny. It's good editing, is what it is.
It is. Stacey says, I think Dirk has a little crush on Kelly. He doesn't have a chance in hell. What does that mean? Come on. Why you don't have a chance?
Because he's weird and she's normal.
Kelly says, Stacey came up to me and said, yeah, I think he likes you. I was just like, oh, great. I didn't come here for that. Dirk is like, Kelly's got a serious boyfriend. Otherwise, she would have told me, man. We could have been friends. And she's like, I think he's really sexually frustrated.
Which is really funny, because he is.
They were discussing about having intercourse, pretty much.
It's okay, you can skip this part if you're uncomfortable.
Yes.
Basically, they just find out that Dirk's a virgin, and some people are like, that's lame, and other people are like, I kind of respect it. That's all that it is.
Because of his religious background, of course, you can't have...
Yeah.
But, all right, good for Dirk, he's following his religion.
Way to go, Dirk. Way to stick to your plan, but also, like, maybe don't be so weird about gay people, because, like, that's not great.
Especially in this group here.
Yeah. A group that, until the first boot, had 2 gay people on it. You should maybe keep that to yourself.
All right, here's Jeff Prost. Here we go, man. Day 7 on the island. We are getting the tribal tree. No, the tree mail. Informing that there'll be a reward challenge, which guests involved with diving underwater. Gervais.
Got him.
He said,
but you're close enough.
Jervis. It's like Jarvis, like Iron Man. Jarvis.
Sure. Yeah, if that helps you remember.
Okay, Jarvis. Thank you. He was basically saying like, dude, I can't swim. I knew coming into the beach is that one thing, but swimming, it's not me.
Yeah, which is weird because he's a YMCA. I mean, he's a basketball coach at a YMCA, but he works at a YMCA. Like he has access to a pool.
He's just like me. I am not going to a pool. I can't swim either.
You can't swim like at all?
No.
You should learn. What are you gonna do when the ocean comes and knocks on your door and says, "What's up, homie"?
No, I live in North Texas. I'm in the land.
I
mean, maybe I should learn. Yeah, maybe I should learn how to swim.
Good nerd. It's kind of fun.
It's just I don't like my ears to be covered with water, my nose, my eyes. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really any way around that. What do you do when you take a shower? Just like stick your head out, like a car, like a dog at the car window?
No, I can take a shower, but I just can't swim. I just can't.
You dove and the green screen or whatever just completely clipped you out, and it looked it looked like you dived into the Survivor logo. You blue skidooed into Survivor.
That's the first time ever here on the podcast.
Oh, no.
But yeah, so it's pretty much
do a Blue's Clues rewatch. There you go. The whole show.
Well, of course with Steve, not with Josh. Excuse me.
All 3. No, you gotta do all 3 hosts. You'll get Steven to do it with you.
Steven? Oh, Does Steven watch Blue's Clues?
Yeah, he famously loves Blue's Clues.
Okay, good.
Maybe
one day. Yeah, so the tribes met Jeff at the sand spit, where they competed for the reward. It was a close race. Oh yeah. Explain the challenge here. I think I missed that here.
Yeah, so basically it was just that there was a treasure chest underwater, and you basically just had to get it. Like it's an incredibly basic challenge. A lot of these early ones were, but it was basically just like you got to swim out, get this chest that's waterlogged, get it all the way back to the shore, and like up to a mat. So it's just a physical challenge about like carrying this heavy ass thing.
Okay. Well, it was a close race.
It was a really short challenge. I think I like blinked and this entire challenge was over.
Well, yeah. So the Tengi ended up going back to the camp with a treasure chest filled with fishing gear.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. Now they can fish and get some food.
Now they can finally fish. Sorry, Sean. Super pole is obsolete. I've got the Hawaiian sling now, baby.
Damn. You know what? Now I'm thinking about it. If I had to bring an item, I'll bring the Josh Nichols from Drake and Josh, his sphere.
You're gonna bring the Okama Game Sphere, whatever the hell that was.
The Game Sphere, yeah. I'll probably bring that.
I think that's actually from South Park. It doesn't. But whatever. No,
I'll bring that.
I mean, sure. I don't know what you're gonna do with it, but you can bring it.
No, I'll treat it as like an idol, and everyone will worship it.
Okay.
I don't know. Day 8. Oh my god. I'm gonna keep saying "oh my god" each day as it comes because it's long.
Because it just keeps getting worse for you.
Yeah.
You just can't imagine being out on a beach for 8 days. Wait till we get to 39, baby.
Damn. Yeah. So Richard put the Tengi reward in use. Sean belittled him and because he was using his Super Pole 2000.
Imagine being like, "Hey man, that professional fishing gear that we won in a challenge, you'll never catch as many fish as the 0 that I've caught with my bamboo stick that I tied a hook to. It absolutely impossible." Like what?
Yeah, Richard's being rude here. He said,
absolutely was being rude here.
He said, "This is pretty much a good moment for me because I knew people were thinking I was just full of caca. And it was just, one of those things I've been talking about fishing and talking about what I've been doing my entire life. All right, Richard, what can you do here, man? Man, this guy caught a lot of fish."
He caught a lot of rays. So
rays, yeah.
He couldn't catch any actual like fish, so he shot the much slower like stingrays that were scooting around the bottom of the lagoon or whatever that their camp was next to.
Yeah.
And Sean and whoever else, I forget who else was on the raft at the time, were giving him guff for it because he's like, "Well, I'm gonna keep catching. I got 7 people to feed. I'm gonna catch whatever I can," which is valid. Like I agree with him. Just catch whatever you can get. But at the same time, it's like you couldn't catch any fish. Like we see fish in, like you're swimming past all these fish. You're targeting these rays.
Absolutely.
I don't know, man.
Well, everyone is liking this fish race because once they skimmed them out, it looked kind of juicy too. It looked good.
Yeah, I mean, it's fish. I'm sure it tastes the same as any other fish for the most part.
This fish did not kill Steve Irwin, right? It was another stingray.
Mean, he was killed by a stingray. Do you mean is it the exact same stingray? Like yeah. You could tell from the scar across his eye and the tattoo that said "I killed Steve Irwin." Even though this was multiple years before that.
Oh yeah, that's true. Well,
but it's the same animal. Like he was killed by a stingray. It's incredibly difficult for a stingray to actually kill a person, though. Like it really was a freak accident. Like Richard wasn't in danger spearing a stingray.
Gotcha. Well, shout out to Steve Irwin's son. He's killing it. He's just like his dad. Oh yeah, that's his enemy. Actually,
he's gone to the ocean and he's taking revenge one ray at a time.
Oh man, make that to a movie. Make it like Captain America type of movie.
Yeah,
like
but
that.
it's just like Avengers crossed with Jaws 2. I'm gonna kill
Make it
all
happen.
these sharks. Yeah.
Make it happen. Yeah, so they enjoyed that good protein meal. Day 9. Oh man.
Day 9, Sean Plot, baby.
Yeah, so as the Pangong, Joel and Colleen went out fishing using their old fish cage, resorting them to catch rats, was
Yep.
Craig making a contraption to catch them. Initially,
I'm shocked, by the way, that this thing worked.
yeah.
Because we see a rat sticking out. Like, he caught something. But what it is it's basically just like a bamboo tube that he somehow managed to like elastic a like vine noose around with a trigger in it.
Mm-hmm.
And then a rat would go into this tube and hit the trigger trying to like get whatever bait was in there, and the noose would snap shut around its neck and potentially kill it, or maybe he had killed it. It was definitely dead hanging out of the thing.
Yeah.
But I am shocked that Greg, of all people, was able to take basically a couple sticks and a vine and make a effective rat trap. That's straight up insane.
I think he got lucky.
I mean, I don't like him either, but I think he just was good at it for some reason. I think, and honestly, we should maybe view it as a red flag that he's so good at killing small animals. That's a sign of a serial killer.
Call the cops right now
We
on
should
Greg.
get him out of here.
But Colleen was
get him off
impressed.
this beach. I don't trust him.
But Colleen was impressed. He's like, "Oh,
Yeah,
I like
she
that."
loves rat famously, so it's her favorite meal.
I think Gina said, "Oh man, I'm so ready to eat rats. I want to gut them, bone them, and
Gina?
have a little rat meat with some rice while eating. That'd be delicious."
Jenna.
Jenna, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, everyone's
I
loving
mean, I'm
eating
with
this
her.
rap.
Look, I'll eat a rat. We're on day 9, and I've eaten almost nothing. Yeah, I'm eating a rat.
Well, towards the end, Jarvis said, "There's plenty of food on the island. You won't starve out here with all these rats, man. There's tons of them. They're everywhere."
Rats, there's snakes. If you can catch them, that's food. That's good eating.
Well, he says, "I think people would just rather eat some fish instead. That's all."
I mean, yeah, absolutely.
Well, it's time for ding 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 tree mail. Informing of an upcoming immunity challenge. The No informed that they had to build a stretcher that would be able to carry a tribe mate. Both tribes started to construct their stretchers. By the way, I think I skipped this part of the tree mail. So when they're building stretchers, I'm like, why are they building stretchers?
Why are they doing this?
Yeah, why are they doing this? Then at the end, I was like, oh, it's part of the challenge. But I guess I missed this part of the episode.
It's pretty uncommon for them to have to like build something and bring it to a challenge. Also, I just don't really like this challenge. There was something about it that felt like weirdly gimmicky in a way that like didn't like sit right with me.
Yeah.
And it was also it's one of those things where like so far all the challenges this season have been very basic, which makes sense. Like it's season 1, I shouldn't be expecting things to be as crazy as it is in season 47. But going back, having seen every season, it feels a little like not underwhelming, but like, oh,
it's too basic.
This is how it was. Yeah.
Well, again, I think we mentioned like they're not fit people. Well, some of them are, but not all of them are.
Yeah, some of them.
And I think you said like later in the seasons, the challenges are more complex.
Yeah. The challenges in modern seasons are usually like multi-staged or will involve like a puzzle at the end or something. Like, well, once we're done with season 1, we'll probably, if you're at that point invested enough to want to do another season, we'll probably skip a couple ahead just to see just to show you like what Survivor becomes, because it's crazy. Honestly, if you want to skip all the way, because by the time we finish this, season 47 will be over. If you want to skip all the way to 47, and we can just do that, and then we can maybe grab some of the afterwards, do some of the like nicer seasons that happen in the middle. I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, we could do this every November.
Every November. All right. I'm not against it.
Let's do it. Yes. So at the immunity challenge, Hong Kong emerged victorious. sending the Taigi back to the tribal council. The vote. Oh, here we go. Okay, back to the Taigi camp. The vote was torn between the eldest member, Rudy, and the weakest member, Stacy.
I still don't know that I agree that Stacy's the weakest member, but
I don't think so either.
I don't know.
I think
mean,
all of them.
Looking at the tribe, maybe. I think some of that is sexism, because I do think she's potentially stronger than Dirk, and I think she's almost certainly stronger than Rudy. Like, I know he's a Navy SEAL, but he's a 72-year-old Navy SEAL.
He's an old dude, man. All right. Everyone was discussing like who to vote out, pretty much. So now we're in the rainy tribal council.
Yeah, it's pouring so hard.
Yeah, Jeff said it was sunny. It was so hot an hour ago. Now it's this.
Yeah.
So Jeff abruptly ended the conversation as the rain started to get too strong. In the end, Rudy was deemed more valuable for the survival knowledge from the military background, and Stacy was eliminated from 5-2. After the vote, Jeff allowed the Tangi to stay at the tribal council until the rain subsided. I do want to say that part, that's kind of like logical, but you don't want to go out in the rain, in the storm.
That's true. So I understand them doing it, especially in season 1. They show in some of the behind the scenes things that like that central area above the fire at tribal council has basically a roof above it. There's like a whole lighting rig like up there that helps them light it up, because cameras back then couldn't really film at night super well without being night vision, and even then like everything was green and looked awful. So they had to set up this whole lighting rig, and that necessitated a roof to keep it dry and all that. So they were able to stay there overnight to stay dry. But the issue then becomes like, is that fair? Because Pagong is in a bamboo shack on a beach right now, and it's raining just as hard over there.
Yeah.
And so in all future situations, like Survivor Samoa, it rains, I think, pretty much every day, like really hard. And they never do this again. There is never a situation ever again where they let people stay out of the rain. The only scenario that's even close is there are 2 different occasions in which there's like, I think it's a hurricane or like a typhoon. There's something incredibly dangerous coming towards the beach, and they will evacuate and take them to a different island for a little while.
Okay.
So, but that only happens twice. So it's like, this is an incredibly rare thing to happen for them to be given basically any leniency at all.
I see. Damn. Well, I was kind of laughing a little bit because when Jeff had the votes in hand, he was drenched.
He's drenched. He's pulling the papers out, and they're like soggy and like about to fall apart in his hands. You can barely read the ink on them. It's really funny.
I mean, I have like a tent over it, no? Over the council.
The middle section does, yeah, but I think when you're on the side, like at the edge of it, and it's pouring that hard, it's just coming and windy. You anyway. Yeah, and then you could see when they were filling it out, the part where they were actually like writing their votes, that part was very clearly not covered.
No.
So yeah, there was just everyone was getting absolutely drenched.
GG. Well, Stacy is out of here. Final words for her. She said, "They kicked off their bug-eating hero. She won it, right? Yeah, I forgot. She won. She
was the reason
challenge.
That they won their challenge, and then they voted her out for being weak. I just don't get it. Stacy, quite literally, Stacy deserved better.
I agree. Well, we need to vote a woman off because we need physical strength, and you know, who do we think is the least productive? Me. And yet, I was the most productive out of all the 4 guys.
Yeah. I don't remember what I haven't watched ahead at all. I don't remember what the other challenges are, but I do know that like there are probably a lot of challenges this season that are not physical, and she's not that she's out of shape or anything, but she seems like she's probably one of the more intelligent people on that tribe. Yeah. If there's a puzzle or something they're gonna wish that they still had Stacy.
I agree. Well, maybe Rudy can help with that challenge. We'll see.
Oh yeah, he's gonna be great.
Well, that's it, man. That's it for episodes 1 through 3. Next time we will cover 4 to 6, and then 9 to 12, and then that's it for Survivor Season 1. We've got 3 more episodes to go. Well, at least 3 more episodes on this pod. But yeah, we kicked it off with a great opening of Survivor Season 1. I forgot to say that the intro of the show, amazing.
It's really good.
I love
classic.
it.
How are you feeling about the show in total so far? Because this is your first time ever watching Survivor, right?
Yes, it is. I like it. It's like, because I've seen like other shows like this, like The Circle on Netflix.
Right.
It's like more of a social,
right, like other reality shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much like that, but this is like, of course, what it all started was because of this show. So it made me. I'm liking it.
Yeah, I'm really excited for you to see how this season turns up, and then what I'm really excited for is to show you like a more modern season, so you can see just like how much the show has evolved. Because going back, it's like there is so much about season 1 that is so completely different. Where it's like there's no hidden immunity idols, there's no advantages, there's no shot in the dark, there's no journeys, there are so many things that are just like mainstay twists and turns that make Survivor so exciting that are just not invented yet.
Interesting.
So it's very much just like a numbers game and a personality thing, and that's good and interesting in its own right, but it's so different.
Damn. Okay. Yeah. So CBS has Survivor, and they also have The Amazing Race as well, right?
They have a lot of reality shows, at least based on Paramount, because they do Amazing Race, they do Survivor, obviously. I think they also have at least streaming rights on Paramount Plus for like Drag Race, and for I think like Ink Masters is on there, and The Challenge. There's a ton. They if you can think of an extremely popular reality show, it's like 50-50 that it's a CBS show.
That's good to know.
Honestly, it's probably like 25% chance that it's a Mark Burnett show too.
Oh,
because he's made a lot of them.
There we go. Well, man, where can they find you, man?
You can find me on Twitter at Daniel J. McG, or at my personal YouTube channel, Daniel McG. Or here next week, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. Of course, you can follow this podcast on Spotify, Apple, YouTube Music. I'm on Instagram, TikTok. I'm on. There's a podcast called Pocket Case where you have to like subscribe. Don't do that. If you can view it for free, do that. I don't want you to pay something else to get to that. I don't know. Get to there anyways. Other than that, let's go, Kelly. That's my girl right now.
Let's go, Kelly.